Hi, my name is Justin, and if you're new to the channel, we make videos about photography, filmmaking, travel, and gear. So if you're into those kinds of things, then please do consider subscribing, as it's the easiest way to support this channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit more on the relaxed side of things. It's going to be a little different from how we usually shoot the videos here. I just want to talk about and share with you a few pieces of equipment that I brought with me to a recent trip that I had. I thought it would be a cool idea to share with you what things I brought with me to the beach, so that if you're planning a trip yourself, you might find something in here in the bag that might be useful to you. Let's start with what's outside of the bag so we can get these off before we move on to what's inside the bag. This one is the BENRO SYSTEMGO Plus Travel 2 tripod, which I actually did an in-depth review on this channel just a couple weeks back, so you can watch that through this link over here. I brought it with me because it's lightweight and it's very versatile. It's a low angle tripod, it's a high angle tripod, it's an overhead tripod, it's a monopod. Basically, any particular situation I think I might find myself in, this I knew this was going to be able to handle, so I brought it with me. Again, for more information, if you want to know more about this tripod, check out the video that I did on it. Links will be down in the description box below too. The next tripod I brought with me is this Joby GorillaPod 3K, because nothing says I'm a vlogger louder than a GorillaPod. Now that those are out of the way, let's talk about the bag itself. This is the Lowepro Protactic 450 AW Mark II. And it's a pretty popular bag amongst photographers, content creators, videographers, and for good reason. This is a bag that I actually have been dreaming of having and have been wanting to have it for quite some time now. So I was really lucky that my sisters-in-law actually got this as a gift for me just a few weeks back. But since we're still in a pandemic, I haven't really had the chance to try this bag out yet. So when the trip came up, I knew this was going to be the bag that I was going with, and it did not disappoint. Hopefully after this video, you'll also kind of get a sense of how good this bag actually is. Now, moving over to the other side of the bag, you'll see here, you'll notice that I have a pouch. This is actually a pouch that came with the Protactic 450, and this is where I put all of the cables I have. Now, this is actually a Velcro bag which you can remove, attach and remove as you want to. One of the things I really like about the Protactic is how customizable it is, and one factor to that are these straps. You see here, straps like these aren't just for aesthetics. They're not just to make the bag look cool. They're actually very functional, and you'll see that's where you can strap on many of the accessories that come with the bag, like this tripod pouch. This is also detachable. It came with the bag too, and I put it here as the tripod leg support, which I can remove. The lugs that you see here, which I used to strap down the tripod a while ago, are also detachable. They're clips that I can remove if I wanted to. So that's one of the coolest things I love about this bag. Alright, so moving on, let's look at the zippers or the pouches on the extremities of the bag. Here I put my phones. This is where I put my phones, my keys, my wallet, because this was outside and it's easy access, so I put it there. And on the other side, I put my microfiber cloth, lens cleaning solution, a lens brush, lens pen, and extra microfiber cloths. Basically, this is where I put my camera cleaning kit, because I knew I was going to be reaching for them quite a bit for this trip. Another feature I really love about the Lowepro Protactic is that it has 3 easy access compartments for your camera gear. So you got this one on the top, which is kind of a hard shell. You have one on this side, which you can open up, grab your gear or camera or whatever it is that's in here, and you have another one on the other side. And the way that I set it up is I actually put 3 different cameras on each side, and later on you'll see what cameras those are. So now that we've covered what's on the outside or the extremities of the bag, I'm gonna show you what's actually inside the bag. The Lowepro Protactic opens up fully when it's laid down on the tabletop or on the ground like this. So let's start with the things that are on the other side of the bag first, so we can save the best things for later. Starting with the laptop sleeve. I think this is a 13-inch laptop sleeve, but here I have my iPad Pro. This is the first trip that I went to without bringing my laptop with me, because I'm trying this thing where I'm trying to see if I could use the iPad Pro as my main creative device. So yeah, that's gonna be a topic for another video, definitely. But yeah, I have it here on the laptop sleeve, and here you see that there are 2 zippers, 2 pouches on this side. I'll start with the bottom one just because it contains a little less stuff. I brought with me 2 filters. One is a variable ND filter. This is crucial if you shoot videos. And one is a ND64 plus CPL, which is a circular polarizing filter and an ND filter combination. And I use this mainly for trips where I know there's going to be lots of water. This handles reflections very well, which makes your photos really nice. Next thing here is actually another set of first aid kits for my camera. I have a sensor cleaner solution. This is a sensor cleaning swab. This is for a full frame sensor. You use the right size for the right sensor. You don't want to use a different size for another one. Extra sets of propellers for my Mavic Mini for a drone. You never know when you're gonna need them, but I have crashed my drone on 2 separate accounts on 2 different trips in the past, and with drones you want your propellers to be in tip-top shape because it really affects the way it flies, the efficiency, and a lot more stuff. An extra lens brush. I have a detachable sun visor for my external monitor, the remote control RC cables for the Mavic Mini to connect to my phone. So I have one for an iOS device and a micro USB device. So now that this side is done, let's move on to the main compartment and see what else is inside of this bag. This is the main event. So I've shown you what it looks like a while ago. Again, this is all the gear that I brought with me. Starting with the top compartment here, I put my Sony a6400, which is obviously not the a6400. This is my 100D, but for the demonstration purposes, I wanted to show you guys how it looked like with a camera on top shelf here. This is where my a6400 goes, but I'm currently using that to shoot this video. So for now, this is going to have to be the a6400. Another camera I put on the top shelf for easy access is my favorite vlogging camera. This is the DJI Pocket 2. Now this is my go-to cam especially for times when I'm in transit and I don't really want to pull out one of my mirrorless cameras. I get some of the best footages I shoot using just this camera. I actually did a video on this, which you can watch right here. It's got lots of features, so be sure to check that out. I also leave a link to that video down in the description box below. I'm gonna try and set this up as an overhead cam so you get a better feel, better look of what else is inside the bag. Starting with the more miscellaneous things like batteries. I have Sony batteries, original Sony batteries, but most of these are RAV powered. One reason why I love getting RAV power is because they always come in pairs and with their own dual chargers. This one is my external monitor. This is the World Master ME5. I love using this. I love the false color. I love being able to see on a bigger screen than the LCDs on my in my cameras. So yeah, to try to use this as much as I can. With that comes the mini HDMI to HDMI cable, of course, to connect the monitor onto the camera. Over here, I have more miscellaneous stuff. This is the UU-Rig ball mount monitor head, which I use to mount the Fieldworld Master onto. I have a 1/4 inch to cold shoe mount. This is a 55 to 67 millimeter ring adapter, which I use on one of my lenses to adapt my variable ND filter and my ND CPL filter too. Next, I guess we're moving on to the cameras I have. Let's start with one of my oldest cameras, the GoPro Hero 3 Plus Silver. It's got this floaty back, which I always bring every time we're going to the beach or every time we're going near a body of water. I've used this before without the floaty back, and I've actually dropped this GoPro in the ocean one time and I almost lost it. Good thing my friend was able to find it wading through the waters, and since then I just, I bought the floaty back, and this makes sure that the GoPro will float in case you drop it in the water. Further down the list is this one is another ND filter, and this is actually for my DJI Pocket 2. This is a variable ND filter from Case. The next item we have here is actually a pretty cool thing. This is a portable LED light panel from Photix. This is the Photix M180. And this was sent to us by our friends over at Photix Philippines to try and test out. Having this light was actually pretty helpful for me to have been able to set up one talking head shot that I tried in my hotel rooms, because we all know that hotel rooms aren't exactly the best lit rooms in the world, so this one came in pretty clutch. So I guess we can move on to the more interesting things inside the bag. Let's start with the drone. I brought with me the Mavic Mini 1. This is the original version. This is not the new Mavic Mini 2. This doesn't take raw photos. It doesn't do 4K. It only does 2.7K, but it's more than enough for what I do. I mean, I don't mind the distance limit because I don't really want to fly the drone too far away. I'm always worried that it might fly away, lose signal, or I might crash it if it's too far away. I'm also always worried about drone regulations. In my experience with this trip, I really enjoyed flying with it. It's more than capable for the types of things I usually do. Next up, we have the Intelligent Flight battery case, which is also a power bank, which I love. These contain the batteries for my drone. Next things here are actually accessories for the drone again. I bought a couple of things. A signal booster. These are signal boosters for the remote control of the Mavic Mini, because one of the things people always complain about is that sometimes the Mavic Mini loses signal, and so far with these attached to the remote control, I haven't had any problems. Next, I have here a small tripod. This is from Ulanzi. Next thing I want to show you is a shotgun mic. If you're into vlogging, you really need to up your audio game. And I have here the Deity VMic D3 Pro. This is my shotgun mic of choice, primarily because of the stepless motor gain. I get really good audio with this one. I used to have the Boya BYMM1, but this was a gift from my sister, so I've been using it since then. I have the small rig side handle. I don't really use my gimbal all the time, and so having an additional handle on the sides of my camera is pretty helpful in terms of stability, and also because this has a latch that I can keep my Allen wrench inside of, which is especially useful for when I put and remove my cameras from their cages. Then I have an additional rocket blower. This is a top handle, again from UU-Rig. Next, let's talk about cameras. Like I mentioned a while ago, this is where I put my Sony a6400 on the top compartment. But for demonstration purposes, I have my 100D set up here. Over here, I have the Sony a7 which is now my main camera, and on it is a Tamron 17 to 28mm lens. This was actually lent to us by Tamron Philippines, so I want to say thank you to Tamron 2 for letting me try out the lens. This was very big in terms of peace of mind and usability for me. You don't really want to open up or expose your sensor at the beach, because It's really easy to get dust and sand in there. Also, this is an f2.8 lens, so I never really felt the need to swap this out with a prime lens. So overall, I'm very happy with this lens, and I'm also gonna be definitely going to be doing a review on this to show you the kinds of shots I was able to do to get with this lens. But yeah, more than anything, it's the peace of mind. This lens really didn't leave my cameras when I was using it, which is a huge deal. Speaking of lenses, I also brought with me 2 other lenses for the trip. This one is the Sony kit lens. This is the 28 to 70mm kit lens. It's an f3.5. It's a variable aperture at f3.5 to 5.6. And my main reason for getting this lens is primarily because it's OSS. It has optical steady shot, which helps a lot, especially for taking videos. I mean, lots of people really hate on the kit lens, but this is actually a pretty good, pretty sharp lens and very useful. So yeah, I brought it with me. The next lens I have here is the new Viltrox 24mm f1.8. I brought this with me because I still wanted to have a prime lens. At f1.8, I knew I was going to be able to take some low light shots. If I wanted to do some talking head videos at night, I'd be able to do so. 24mm is a really good focal length. It's not too wide and not too cropped in, and it's just a good vlogging lens. This is an ND filter set from PGY Tech, and this is specifically for my Mavic Mini. This one is an ND8, ND16, ND12, and ND64 set from PGY Tech. We're almost done with this. Let's start with this one. This is a mechanical shutter release cable, which I use on the last thing on this bag. Yeah, this is the Bronica ETRS medium format camera. This shoots 120 film in 6x4.5 format, and so this makes it larger than a full frame sensor. And I love this camera mainly because of the way it looks. I think it looks really cool. Second is the quality of the photos I've been able to get from this. And of course, the main thing for me is the waist level finder. I mean, shooting with this camera, honestly, this is a camera I enjoy shooting photos with the most. You're looking through the waist level finder is such a different experience that it gives a whole new meaning, whole new definition to the experience of shooting photos. I knew I wanted to shoot some film for this trip, and so this is kind of the film camera that I decided to bring with me, just so I can take some really beautiful shots. I have the 75mm lens, f2.8 lens attached on it, and I also packed a few rolls of film which I used up in the trip. So now I have this one last film over here. So I think that's it, except for, I guess, yeah, we have one more compartment over here. There's a zipper where I keep some of the loose stuff, like this memory card reader. Kind of anticlimactic after everything else, but yeah, you can put some more loose stuff over here that you don't really need access to. And I guess that's all there is inside of this bag. So those are the things I brought with me to the beach. I'd love to know what you guys think. Is there something in the bag that you found interesting? Do you have any questions about a particular piece of equipment? Leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. I want to say thank you to Tamron Philippines and Photex Philippines for lending me the Tamron 17-28 f2.8 lens and the Photex M180 Pocket LED light. Those two things are gonna have a review up soon on the channel, so be sure to check that out. Obviously, you don't need all of this gear to be able to vlog and document your trips. I'm just someone who's really in love with gear, and I've been lucky enough to have been able to accumulate all of this over the years. I'm not a professional. I just really love taking photos and videos of our trips for documentation purposes and making videos like this. Anyways, like I said, this video is more on the relaxed side of things. This is not the way I usually shoot the videos on the channel. So I'm really hoping I was able to provide some sort of value to you guys. So if you like this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. My name is Justin, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.